What's up, Mons? Mons, did you hear? I will no longer be putting any more time or effort into you now. I will still stream on there from time to time, but no more time or effort. We're all on this YouTube game now. Because you now is failing miserably. Like a jobs report came out and said that it's basically done. So this is my job, this is my business. I need to continue on to make decisions that are best for me. It was fun while it lasted, but now it's time to move on to bigger and better things, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Good morning, everybody. YouTube does rock. I like YouTube. Just gotta work to become partnered. That's the goal now. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all well. We're gonna do something different today. Something that I've never done live. I've talked about it in YouTube videos. On here is usually content for news, current events, etc. And I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm just getting started in all of that, actually. But, for a long time, for a few years, I've been really into I guess you can call it self-help books. I don't really like that word, self-help. But for lack of a better term, I guess that's what they're called. If you go into like a bookstore, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Miss Maxie. I agree. It is going to be an amazing year. So yeah, I've been kind of into I guess you could say self-help books. I like I said, I really don't like that word, but it is what it is. If you walk into like a bookstore, that's what it would be considered. And I've been reading a lot of books over the last couple of years. These quote-unquote self-help books. And I've learned a lot. I've watched a lot of, I don't know if you guys know who TED Talks is or what TED Talks is. You guys know TED Talks? It's basically a convention. I appreciate it. I did not make any of these graphics, by the way. I got them made, but still. Definitely make sure to follow me up on all social medias. We are not ending streaming for good. We will not end. We will continue to broadcast for sure. And we will get the show started here in a couple minutes for real. But I think I wanted to talk to you guys first. I've been doing like I said, quote unquote a lot of self-help books. I mean, if you go to a bookstore, that's what these books would be under. If you're looking by genre. And for a while, I guess you could say, I don't know if selfish is the right word. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know who did what, but thank you so much. Somebody just subscribed or something. I heard it. I appreciate it. Let me open up Streamlabs so that I know what just happened. But I guess for lack of a better term, you can call it selfish. Yo, thank you for subscribing to me. CJ. Thank you, Marissa. CJ Sullivan, huh? Interesting. I appreciate it. We have the same last name. I appreciate it. And for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is King Sullivan. I've been streaming on a platform called YouNow for about 3.5 years, and we'll go back into all of this, and we'll talk about a lot of this. I'm kind of here to absolutely, Miss Maxie. I'm kind of here to tell you guys about Uncle. Oh, okay. I know who you are. How you doing? How's it going? That's funny. Yeah, Miss Maxie. And for a while, I guess we'll kind of go back to a little bit of the story of how I kind of began broadcasting, etc., and what I'm intending to do with my my life now. So we started broadcasting about 2016 consistently on a platform called YouNow. I thought it was one of the coolest things. You know, you get to talk to people all over the world. Social media was just coming up. And I knew that I wanted to do something different with my life. And even from before this, I knew I wanted to do something different with my life. I remember being at a music festival in Miami, Florida, called Ultra Music Festival. And looking at my friend during a set called by somebody named Deadmau5 and being like, I want to throw music festivals. And he looked at me and he was like, dude, you're crazy. And I was like, no, I'm serious. I want to throw music festivals. He was like, yeah, okay, bro. Yeah, okay. So I came home, didn't do anything for about 6 months. You know, just kind of let it linger in the back of my mind. I appreciate it, Mons. Sorry. And I didn't do anything with it for about 6 months. And I went fishing with my father and a friend of mine. And you know, I still had this idea in the back of my head to throw music festivals. This is something that this isn't black. This is a gray shirt. You, my friend, are how's the Hat Man feeling? He's hurting right now. He broke a rib, but he's all right. He broke a rib a couple weeks ago, but he's all right. He'll be okay. He's sucking it up, even though he's still a wimp. So I went fishing, and I remember looking at my pops and my friend and being like, yo, this would be a sick place to throw a music festival. And he looked at me. My dad was like, this dude, because he knew somebody who owned it. We went to this specific camping fishing trip because he knew the person who owned it. And he was like, yeah, this guy's thrown music festivals before. What's up, K-Rose? So we I was like, all right, sweet, let's do this. So I spoke to him on one drunken night, the owner of the campground. I talked to him along with my friend and my pops there, and you know, we were just sitting around campfire, We were about to go home the next day from fishing. And we were all drunk as F and having a good time and whatever. And I looked at him and I was like, hey, man, I want to throw a music festival here. And he was like, set it up. I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. So I went home. This was about 6 months after going to that music festival in Miami. And I put out a Facebook post. Something so simple. There was no Twitter. I don't think Instagram was a thing, or like they were just starting type nonsense. No JD honey. No JD honey. Not at this particular time. If you guys have not hit that like button, it would be greatly appreciated. It helps out the video. So I came home and I put up a Facebook post and I said, if I get 100 likes on this Facebook post, no fan page, no nothing, just my normal Facebook, just going out to my friends and family. I said, if I get 100 likes on this Facebook post, I'm gonna throw a music festival. Everybody laughed at me, my friends. They were all like, yeah, okay. Like, all right. We ended up getting like 250 likes on it, right? To see like if I could really pull it off type shit. And never forget that moment. Two friends of mine reached out. One person who I actually told my original idea to. Back in Miami when I was at that music festival, when I was at that show at Deadmau5 show. And I looked at him and I said, I want to throw music festivals. He hit me up along with somebody else and was like, you serious? And I was like, dead serious. I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. So we started planning this music festival. No idea what it would take. No idea how much money we would need. No idea how hard it was going to be. No idea how we were going to find a venue, much less get the town to approve, and the police and the medical and security and sound and stage and whatever else we needed. And it's like, let's do it. Let's throw this music festival. And we started to plan it. And we had this venue, and we were talking to the town, and we were working with the town, and they were about to approve us. And 2 weeks before the date of the music festival, the owner of this campground that we were staying at, that we were working with, that we were in talks with, where he was like, yeah, let's throw a music festival 3-4 months prior, he pulled it on us. He said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to throw this music festival here. It's not happening. We're 2 weeks out from the show. We've been planning this show for like 4 or 5 months. 2 weeks out from the show, this guy goes, peace. I don't want this music festival there. So, me and my friends, and whoever else helped us, a lot of people helped us, our family, etc. We're like, what the hell are we gonna do? We just spent so much money trying to get this going. What's up, T? We spent so much money trying to get this going, and the venue got pulled on us. So now we're scrambling to find a venue. And the name of the music festival was called Freedom of Expression Music Festival. Okay? FOE. Because we wanted people to freely express themselves through music, art, etc. Thought it was a great name. We were all really behind it. And we felt like that day when that guy pulled our venue from us, it came under attack. So we scrambled to find a whole new venue. We found one. We paid way too much for the venue. Way too much for the nonsense that we had to deal with at that venue. The venue itself, the people who owned the venue itself, were very nice. They, helped us out with whatever we needed help with. They were very accommodating. They did whatever they needed to do. to help our show run as smoothly as possible. We did the rest, and we worked our asses off. Fast forward to a couple years later. We changed venues. We threw another music festival. FOE 3. Freedom of Expression Music Festival 3. And a guy who did not like the fact that we were having a music concert outside in the middle of the summer on a weekend decided to bring a gun to my music festival and hold it outside the venue while drinking a beer in a car. And we're standing there and we're like, what do we do? Hey, appreciate it. We were like, what do we do? What do we do? So, of course, we did what we had to do, and we called the police. Police come. They arrest him for having the gun. They arrest him for having, for drinking and driving, etc., etc. It turns out the guy was an old man who just lost his wife. He was an ex-state trooper. He lost his job. He lost his wife. Like, his wife passed away, etc. But the guy was obviously losing it, right? And he decided to come to this music festival, try and get in, drinking a beer, waving around a gun, saying, I don't want you guys here, even though we had permits, even though we were able to do this legally, and the town had approved of it, and the police had approved of it, and everything like that. And while this was going on, I was watching what was going on YouTube. And music festivals were starting to stream on YouTube. They were starting to stream these 3-day events on YouTube. And these were like multi-million-dollar productions, right? Like the entire music festival was like a multi-million-dollar production. We had nothing like this. But I wanted to do something like that. Now, they only streamed certain acts. They only streamed what they wanted you to see, right? Not the setup, not the breakdown, not what it takes to go into a music festival, not what it really takes to build a music festival. And I had this idea. I said, what if I could do this, stream it on a platform, possibly make money on one of these platforms while making money at a music festival? Unfortunately, we weren't making money, because, it was a brand new business, and there was the market was flooded with music festivals, and we didn't have the capital. We're not rich. We're just some normal everyday kids, literally kids. We were like 18, 19, 20. We didn't really know what the hell we were doing at all with anything. We're lucky we got approved by the towns. And a lot of the towns, they looked at us and they were like, we sure we want to do this? And, thankfully, they let us do it, and, everything went smooth. Smooth as it could have went. But I was like, I wanted to stream on these platforms, and I wanted to stream the setup and the breakdown and what it really took to go into building a music festival. So I thought, I could do YouTube and do it on YouTube. But, these multi-million-dollar festivals, they're going to obviously take over real quick, right? I'm never going to get seen on a platform like YouTube because we're nobody, right? My friends had no idea what to even do with this or how to even begin this. And, I had kind of ran all of our social medias. I had kind of ran all of our stuff like that because, I was kind of like, I was the youngest one that, like, out of the three of us that were involved with throwing the music festival and really putting it together. And I always felt like it was my idea, right? Not saying that, anybody else didn't have this dream, because I believe we all had this dream, which is why we did it. But it was my idea. I was the one who, was like, let's do this with this Facebook post. Let's get this venue. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's push on. We got to throw it. We got to do this. We got to do that. It was always my baby. So I put as much time and effort into it as possible. I realized social media was becoming a huge thing as far as promoting your business. Twitter was starting to blow up. Facebook was already blown up. Instagram was starting to blow up, etc. People were starting to stream stuff on YouTube as far as music festivals were concerned. And I was like, we got to do this. We got to do this. And I found a smaller platform called YouNow. And so I broadcasted on there. And I started telling people about my music festival. And I started telling people about everything that I was doing in my life. And I was talking to maybe 1 or 2 people at the time, maybe 3 or 4 tops. And, basically where I'm starting right now on YouTube, okay? But even a smaller amount of people, because at least now I have some kind of a fan base, quote unquote. And I started to stream on there and tell people about my music festival and stuff like that. And mind you, I was 22, so I was still kind of young. 23, still kind of young. And then me and my ex-girlfriend broke up, okay? And that shit fucking hit me hard, right? Because I was it's my first real relationship type shit, you know what I mean? A whole bunch of nonsense. And I was I saw we were losing a lot of money throwing music festivals, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do it. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to do it. We made the decision that we were done throwing music festivals. And we weren't going to be able to throw them anymore. And it sucked. But I still knew that I had this platform called YouNow where I could potentially build and grow myself and make it a business and make it a career in some way. And, social media was just getting real popular, and Vine was, Vine kids were starting to make money, and YouTube were starting to make money, a lot of money. And, I saw the potential in a lot of this. So I decided to stick with it and start streaming consistently on YouNow. And fast forward a little bit now. I was doing real great on YouNow, got partnered, got a sub button. Everything was going great. YouNow was at the height. We were all making money. We were all enjoying ourselves. We were going to, different parties, different events, playlists, VidCon, etc. And then last year came. Now, I believe that YouNow, that company, was on a slowly decline even before that. And that's unfortunate. I didn't see it. I chose not to see it. Probably because I had invested so much time and effort and I was comfortable, and, I kind of felt like this was going to be one of my second large ventures that I've done in my life where I was failing, even though this potentially was not my fault. The music festival, because we could say it's our fault because it was our company, it was our business, it was our, livelihood, right? But YouNow was not. It was something that I was, I was still sustaining views, I was still sustaining money, I was still sustaining people, everything was still going good. Then 2019 hit, the end of 2018, early 2019, and things fell apart. I moved back to New York. All that nonsense happened. And for a while, I really thought that I was done with social media. I wanted to be done with social media. I bounced back a little bit, and then I would lose everything again. Bounce back a little bit, lose everything again. And I'm talking about all last year and 2019. And once I really started to realize that, nobody really cares about the nonsense that was spewed. Nobody really cares about the nonsense that was spewed anymore, because now this was months afterwards. But I'm not bouncing back. There is no more bounce back on YouNow. So I started to make YouTube videos and really focus on Instagram. And that worked for a little bit, but it wasn't doing anything that I wanted it to. Because I was, not really investing my full time in it, and I still wanted to do YouNow, and I still wanted to have faith that YouNow was going to succeed, and I still wanted to, I knew that was my money, that was my job, that was my source of income. I knew that I had to continue to do that. That's where my effort and my time had to be placed. It had to be. Because if it wasn't, I wasn't able to do the things that I was doing. And prior to that, I was doing whatever I wanted because life was good. YouNow was good. Everybody was succeeding and growing. And so to go from here and on an upswing to just crashing, and that, I realize now that it wasn't just me. Okay, I thought at the time it was just me that this was happening to. Because of all the nonsense. Now I realize that it was the whole platform, and it is the whole platform. Now, this is not to bash YouNow, by the way. I want to make that very clear. I'm not here to bash YouNow. This is about my thinking, my understanding, the way that I've seen what I've done over the last few years, over the last decade, really, from 2001 with throwing music festivals. 2011 with throwing music festivals, all the way up till now. So this is about, which is why I wanted to start all the way back there, because I think it's really important for you to get a full perspective on why I'm doing what I'm doing, and a lot of little things like losing the first venue, and the guy with the gun coming to my music festival. These are things that not many people know about, not many people have heard about. And what's up, Maddie? It was hard, but you kept it 100. Your motivation and strength within you, and we all believed in you for sure. That was a big thing. You guys believed in me. A lot of you guys really helped me push through with all of this, for sure. So, I thought it was all just me, right? I was failing, not YouNow. I was failing. I didn't want to believe that YouNow was failing. I believed that, new people will come and I'll be able to start getting more people again. I'll be able to get myself, I built myself up once on YouNow, I can do it again, right? I built myself up on YouNow once, I could do it again. I just gotta wait it out. That never happened. Not because of me. Not my fault. Not anything like that. But because YouNow was slowly failing. So I started to focus more of my efforts on other platforms, and I wasn't getting any return. It was really hard to continue to sustain myself. Started looking for brand deals, started working with brands like Adidas and Hill City. And I was like, all right, cool. This is gonna change. Everything is gonna start to change, and it's still gonna, I'm gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. But those two companies and all the little side companies that I was doing, and the fact that I was still stuck on YouNow, where I hit a ceiling and I wasn't meeting anybody new, and I wasn't gaining any new fans. I wasn't doing anything different, and I was still in that comfortability state of, this is the way it is. This is the way YouNow is, and eventually it will change and I will get bigger and better again. But, I never got to see my successes of working with Adidas and stuff really pay off. Now, thankfully, I'm still working with them. And, it might seem like something small and trivial eventually, but getting accepted to work with Adidas as a brand ambassador, even something so small and minor to a company like Adidas, is huge to me. It was a major success to me, right? Working with one of the largest athletic brands in the world. Everybody knows Adidas. Everybody wears Adidas. So it was a huge, major win for me. And I am proud. And then Hill City, aka The Gap, they reached out to me. They wanted to do stuff with me, and I'm like, cool, like, this is working. But the thing was, I wasn't bringing in anybody new into my fan base. This was something that I needed to change, and I realized that. So I started making YouTube videos, and I started, working more on Instagram, stuff like that, because I knew that I wanted to stay on this social media path. And still, it wasn't happening, because I was spending so much time on a platform that unfortunately was going to provide me nothing else that was going to help me in my life. And then yesterday's bombshell hit with KDC over there on YouNow. Now, a lot of people who don't watch YouNow, who have no idea what YouNow is, they have no idea what I'm talking about with this. But basically, there was a jobs report that came out that basically said that YouNow not in the best financial state. And I had kind of already made a decision in my mind a couple weeks ago. I was going to stream on YouTube. I was going to do political stuff. I was going to do news stuff. I was going to do current events. I was going to do protests. I was going to do stuff that I wanted to do, right? Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go more that route. And I still will, and that's my intention. A large intention with this channel eventually is to keep doing today's news and to keep streaming the Hong Kong protests and, the stuff in Iraq and Baghdad that's going on with, the U.S. embassy and, anything else that I need to stream, that I feel I need to stream. So I had consciously made that decision and subconsciously made that decision that I knew that I had to change. There had to be something that was completely. There had to be something that was not going to work. That had to change for me. It just had to. There was nothing else that we could do that we could fix out of the situation with YouNow. So I had made this conscious decision to start doing all of that. I realized that, like, as people are literally getting tear gassed and beating with batons, and, mainland China is slowly taking over the world, people on YouNow never cared. They wanted that nonsense drama. They wanted me to hate Low-Key and Brady and Truth Crab and whoever else, right? They wanted this. They wanted us to hate each other. They wanted the drama. They wanted the nonsense. When in all actuality, that means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of, like, what's going on in the world. I mean, because we just did airstrikes on this Iranian-backed militia, we might be going to war with Iran. I think that's very important to think about. That's something that affects us in the entire world, the U.S. and the entire world. It will inevitably affect all of our lives. Absolutely. Drama equals views. So I said, I want to do drama. I want to do drama broadcasts. That works. That sells. But I want to do drama that matters. I want to do stuff that actually will affect the way that I live for the rest of my life. Will affect inevitably every single person What's up, Mickey? Every single person for the rest of our lives. If we go to war with Iran, in any way, shape, or form, if North Korea decides to release this brand new weapon in the coming days that they say that they have, this will inevitably change the world. Okay? The impeachment, whether Donald Trump actually gets removed or not, this is life-changing events that are in the history books now and will be in the history books forever. As long as there is a human race, a human species, and we have societies, these things will be talked about forever. So the drama that I choose to put out is history. The drama that I choose to put out is real life. People, unfortunately, fighting for their freedom, some of which who are willing to die for that. Just like, a lot of us are here in the US, and a lot of us are around the world, willing to literally die for our freedom. And we have the power to stream this and show this live to the rest of the world. So that's what I wanted to do. And as far as YouNow is concerned, they wanted none of it. I'm not talking about the company themselves. I'm talking about the viewers, the people. They wanted none of it. What's up, Ashley? How are you? My views were the views I have right now. And as far as YouTube is concerned, I've only been streaming for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. And I already have just as many, if not more, views on here than I do on YouNow over the past 1.5 years. Okay? Just think about that for a second. I'm great, Ashley. I'm great. Just think about that for a second. In the past 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks, I have just as many viewers, just as many people watching this stream, just as many people that are interested in the content that I'm putting out as I did over the full course of 1.5 years on a platform where for 3 years I was getting hundreds of thousands of views. Now all of a sudden, I ain't getting shit over there. And I'm over here, and we're killing it already. Thanks, Allie. And I realize it's going to be slow, and I realize it's going to be hard. I realize there's times where I'm going to be like, screw this, I don't want to do this. But I will. And like I said, I am not going to say, fuck you now. I'm not going to stop streaming on that platform. But I sure the hell am not going to put as much time and effort into that platform as I will over here, coming up with ideas and content, etc. Now, I also understand doing news all the time is not something that I personally want to do either. I want to help people, and I want to make a change. And I think it's important for us to keep our eyes open to the news and to what's going on around the world and current events. But I also don't want to be surrounded with negativity. And no matter what, the news is negative. For the most part. Because once again, drama sells. Right? That's why you hear about the bad stuff that happens on the news. You go to the news for the bad stuff. You don't go to the news for anything good that happens. You go to the news to find out who robbed what, who did this, who bombed who did that. That's what you watch the news for. And I think that these life-changing events like impeachments and history-changing events, impeachments, potential wars, protests, people standing up for their rights. These are things that need to be talked about and need to be streamed and need to be shown to the masses, which I am not, but can reach more people that possibly will listen. So, I do that stuff because I see a huge disconnect in the world. A huge disconnect between the older generation that came before me, older generations that came before me, and younger generations that came after me. Where they don't care about what happens in the world. But when I sit down and I talk with my friends, people that I grew up with, millennials, we're all pretty informed on what's going on in the world. We might not have all the facts, we might get stuff wrong, but we're all still pretty informed. And maybe we got lucky. Maybe we grew up in a time where, like, there was no internet, right? But once we hit the 2000s, the internet was huge. And I look at my friends, like my parents' friends, they know nothing about what's going on in the world. I look at my little cousin, you know, who's, well, I mean, they're a little young, but like, he's like 15, 16, so a little bit young, but like, I still see people who are like, even like 18, 19-year-olds, right? When I was 18, 19, I was watching the news. I was doing that. And I get that maybe I'm an exception, but a lot of my friends were. I remember, like, for instance, sitting down watching TV, working on a music festival. My boy, right here in this very room. And him being like, yo, the Boston Marathon just got bombed. And we were like, what? So we turn on the news, and we see what happened at the Boston Marathon. We see the bombing. You know, we see everything. They're replaying the images on the TV over and over again. And he pulls up Reddit. And he's literally getting a live report of what's going on the internet, of where all the police are and what's going on and where the FBI is and who's getting brought in, way quicker than anything we're getting on the TV. You know, we're pulling up live streams and we're watching this and we're engaged for hours, literally watching a tragedy go down in America, and they can't find the guy, and they're looking for him, and they can't find either of them at first, and they're looking for him, but they released video, and they know who these guys are, and, you know, we were watching this, and we were like, wow, this is some crazy stuff, and I realized, right then and there, how powerful social media could be, and why we millennials as a generation were so informed. Because we were one of the only generations, if not the only generation, to really build the internet to what it was. Now it's multiple generations and spans across everything. But we were the first ones to use Napster to download music illegally. We were the first ones to find ways to stream music. It was you know, the late 90s, it was the 90s and the early 2000s, maybe late 80s and the early 2000s. That's where the internet age came from. That's who built it. And now people come on YouTube and they watch, you know, how to put on makeup and whatever. That's cool. But I remember when the internet was informative, when it was a way for you to, like, do all these different things that you could never do in the world. You know, how you were vastly smarter with a cell phone in your hand once you could text and get on Google and stuff like that, as opposed to us having absolutely nothing. You know, the thing that you have to realize is we now can realize the bullshit from facts. We were never able to do that. It was always the media telling us one thing, and us having to take their word for it, whether it was bullshit or not. And now we don't have to do that. But now, we are so used to the internet that we have become complacent again. And we are realizing, people are becoming so good with the internet, so good with manipulation, so good with persuasion, that there's a lot of disinformation out there now, which is why I try and stream to you live, uncut, raw footage of protests and news. Because when I look at a news story, I don't look at that news story on CNN and call it quits. I look at it on CNN and NBC and Fox and Al Jazeera and RT and all these other news spots from around the world. Because in that same news article, there will be certain things that are exactly the same. Those are called the facts. Everything else is the way that news organization wants to spin it. And I took a lot of this and I realized that this is what I want to do, right? I want to bring people live, uncut, real drama that sells, that will actually affect our lives. It might not even sell as far as monetary value, but it sells in information, it sells in popularity, it sells in intelligence. And, for a while I've been reading a lot of these quote-unquote self-help books. What's up? Yeah, no, Andrew, that happened that happened yesterday, I believe. Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. It's horrible, T. That's horrible. You're sick. You're absolutely sick. Okay. So I started looking into a lot of these books. A lot of things. And first, I did it because I saw people succeeding on social media and I wanted to make a lot of money. Let's be real, right? Who doesn't? And I would implement some of these things and then I wouldn't. And then I would implement some of these things, and then I wouldn't. Night bit with that timing. So I would implement, and then I wouldn't. And on this kind of journey that I've been going through over the past almost decade now, because it'll be a decade next year since I decided to throw a music festival. It will be a decade next year since I threw my first music festival. That's crazy to think about. I'm old. I don't know if you can do it on mobile, Ashley. I'm not really sure if you could do it on mobile. But, I've been through a lot of ups and downs. But one thing I realized is that as long as I continued to put time, effort, hard work, dedication, be dedicated in what I wanted to do, I could do it. I could do it. I might not succeed. It might be quote unquote a failure eventually, right? I might fail at my business venture like I did with music festivals. But I can do it. I can throw it. And the more I read into stuff and started realizing and reading people like Timothy Ferriss and Robert Greene and Napoleon Hill, listening to Bob Proctor, there's always this one common goal that they all say. You have to change your subconscious mind. And you're like, but it's subconscious. How do you do such a thing? How do you change your subconscious mind? And I never really understood this, and I wanted to keep this to myself because I was like, wow, if I can unlock this, man, I can unlock this, Like, these guys have all made millions. They have been, very successful in their lives. Napoleon Hill was somebody who worked with some of the richest men in the world, you know what I mean? Andrew Carnegie, who perhaps is the richest man ever to live. Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, presidents and world leaders alike, along with some of the top businessmen and women who literally changed our lives forever. The light, electricity, cars, hell yeah. Absolutely, Montreal. And I was like, these guys did something right? So maybe I should listen to them, because they have done stuff right. And this goes all the way up to Timothy Ferriss, who has some of the best books I've ever read. The 4-Hour Workweek, The 4-Hour Body, The 4-Hour Kitchen. Great books. And they've all literally set out a whole list of things on how to do this. Literally. A whole list of things. They would literally give you a map while reading these books. You just had to do it. And if you continuously do it every day, you continuously do it, you will change your thinking. Because of where I was, living in Virginia, this is when I found a lot of this. Actually, a little bit before that, but that's when I really started to look into this. Because I wasn't happy and I wanted to get happy. I wanted to be happy, and I knew that I had to change something. So I tried to listen to a lot of these people, but I always fell off track with the stuff that was going on in my life. Yo, T Mustellit! Everybody hashtag T. Thank you so much for donating. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much, T. Means a lot. T, thank you so much for the love. I don't know if you saw it, but it should have came up on the screen. Thank you, T. Hopefully it came up. Did it come up on the screen? I hope so. Thank you so much, T, for the love. I'm great, Ashton. How are you? So, I wanted to do this. And I thought that if I could do it, change, but I didn't see anything. All right, I might not have it set up on this page like an idiot. I was in transaction, so no. So I got you. All right. Well, I'll make sure it's up here for sure. But let me continue on my story here. So, and I know I'm telling a long story, an hour-long story actually, but I think it's kind of important. So for a while, once I started like reading all of this stuff, I was like, if I could do this, and I could implement it, basically have everything I want. Possibly with money, but definitely with happiness, definitely with success how I see it, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a lot of money. But success with the way I see it. And I was like, I want to keep this, and I want to keep this to myself. I don't want to tell anybody about this, even though these books are top sellers, right? And everybody knows about them. Well, a lot of people do. Not going good, but I'll be alright. I'm sorry to hear that, Ashton. Everybody drop some love for Ashton. So, I wanted to continue on with that. And as I started to implement some of this slowly but surely, it worked. And then I would fall off track, and it wouldn't work. And then I would literally have to relearn almost everything that I just read. But that's the point of these books, of Art of War and Think and Grow Rich and 48 Laws of Power and 4-hour work week and how to influence friends and people, how to all these books that I read. I realized they're guides that you are supposed to go back to. You're supposed to go back to them. You're supposed to forget. You're supposed to go back to them. You're supposed to take certain aspects of it and implement it. And if it works, continue on that path. I'm sorry, Ashton. My apologies, I'm always here. So, that's what I wanted to do, right? And, I realized that these things were guides. And I kept on hearing people like Napoleon Hill, and, I've looked him up a fair amount now. For those of you who do not know who Napoleon Hill is, he's somebody who was born in 1886 or something like that. He was born in 1883. And he died in 1970, okay? So the dude lived for a very long time. Worked with some of the most amazing people in the world to change, to write this book to be able to change people's lives, okay? He was a journalist for a small newspaper, and he wanted to interview the richest man at the time in the world, who still to this day was the richest man in the world, Andrew Carnegie. And Andrew Carnegie took a liking to him and said, I really want you to take the gifts that I have, that I've learned, and I want you to spread it with the world, because when I die, all these things will die with me, and I don't want that to be the case. Instead, Andrew Carnegie said to Napoleon Hill, but you have one thing that you have to do for me. One thing that you have to do for me. Napoleon Hill said, what's that? Said you have to dedicate at least 25 years of your life to this project and never expect a dime for it. So this guy was supposed to work on this book, on this goal, on achieving what Andrew Carnegie had done and others have done over the course of time and expect absolutely no return for it for 25 years, a quarter of a century. Napoleon Hill didn't even take 13 seconds. He said, sure, I'll do it. So he set out on this path, and he worked with Andrew Carnegie, and then he started working with other successful businessmen, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, John Burroughs, Henry Ford, and others. J.D. Rockefeller, and others, and said, I'm going to write this book called Think and Grow Rich. And he did. Now there have been many books that were written after this. And one thing that I really learned about these books in particular is that everybody has the power to unlock infinite potential and wisdom as long as you choose to. And I know I sound a little bit insane, because as I sit there and I listen to Napoleon Hill's talks nowadays, I'm like, this guy was nuts. This guy was absolutely nuts. He makes no sense, but it worked. And then I found somebody named Bob Proctor, and the list goes on and on from there. And I was reading Sin Jin Chu, The Art of War, and Robert Greene, 50 Laws of Power, and The Art of Seduction, and The Art of Mastery, and all these other books that I started to read and look into more and more. And they all say the basic same principle. It's all a mindset. You have to change your mindset. Your mindset is what needs to change. It needs to change. Without your mindset changing, you will just be stuck in the same rut. For a while, I was just like, you know what? This is bullshit, right? It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not working for me. It's taking too long. Screw this. Forget it. And this is actually an excellent part for you, Ashton, because of what you're going through right now. Without these failures, without these sad parts in life that happen, whether it's a business failure or a death of an animal or a family member or, the loss of a job, the loss of a relationship or a loved one, loss of a coworker, whatever, it doesn't really matter what it is. These trials and tribulations in your life, they're all tests. And this test, see, Ashton, right now you are put at a crossroads. And so am I, in many ways, by taking the leap of faith and saying, I'm not going to continue to work this hard on you now, and I'm going to work more on you too. Peace. That's hard to do. That's scary to do, because I'm comfortable on you now. I'm comfortable over there. I know how it works, right? I know what happens. And, when it comes to the death of an animal, I know what it feels like, right? Everything was great. Now your whole world is crashing down. But that's a test in your life. It's a test in my life. We all get tested every day. Okay? We all get tested every day. Do you want to take this test and fail it? Or do you want to succeed? Because to me, failure is not an option. There might be days where you feel like you want to give up and you're upset and in Ashton's case, you want to cry and, if you're really sad and you hate what's going on, but nothing in life comes easy. Nothing really worth holding on to and working at comes easy. And, through these these tests that we have in life, you come to a crossroads. Failure or success. There is no in between. So grieve, be upset. Be angry that you lost that job or that person. Mess up in life and realize that it's a failure and take that failure as a loss and feel sorry for yourself for a day or two. Then get back up and continue on. Because if you don't, what's the point? What's the point? Change your mindset. That it's okay to be upset. That it's okay to grieve. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. As long as you know. And what eventually you will do is get better. And be better. For yourself. For your family. For your friends. For whatever the hell you want to do. Because inside your mind, you have the power to do anything you want to do. But you have to want to do it. You understand? People say you can be whatever you want to be. That's not true. You can't be whatever you want to be. Sorry to say that. You can't be whatever you want to be. But what you can do is be whatever you want to be. Be whatever you really want. That's what you can do. You can't be anything you want to be. But you can be whatever you really set your mind to. Okay? The reason why I say that is because if you don't want to be an astronaut, you're not going to be an astronaut. So can you be anything you want to be? No, you can't. You can be whatever you put your mind to and are that passionate about. You're not going to be passionate about everything. You're not going to be passionate about every single thing. So therefore, you can't be whatever, you can't be anything. You can't be whatever, whatever's out there. Because if you're not passionate about being a firefighter and going and running into burning buildings to save people, you're not going to be a firefighter. If you're not passionate enough about being a musician, then you're not going to be a musician. So you can't be whatever you want. You can be whatever you're passionate about. That's the difference. See, because you have to want it. If you don't want it, you're never going to achieve it. So this be whatever you want, you can do whatever you put your mind to nonsense. That's true. But the key words, whatever you put your mind to. Not whatever you want to be. You can do anything in the world. No, you can't. You can do anything you put your mind to, that you're passionate about, that you want to really continue to do. I realize I want to continue to broadcast and expand and do social media. That's why this jump for me is so important. That's why, even though I'm scared to fail, and I'm scared that I'm never going to succeed on here, I know that I will. Because there's nothing else right now in this world that I want to do. Nothing else. It might seem kind of silly. Be like, oh, he wants to do social media. He wants to do YouTube. Like, what kind of life is that? I get to speak to people and potentially listen to people from around the world and speak to millions. The potential is there to really change the world, even if it's just something small and minor. The potential is there to do that with something like social media. The potential is there to have people open up their eyes to what's really going on in the world and seeing people getting tear gassed and, beaten with batons, and seeing governments try and overtake people and the people fighting back, and seeing, of really telling people the true story about what's going on in the world, the way that I see it. So you can't do anything in the world. You can do whatever you put your mind to, but you gotta want it. And it starts at a subconscious level. And I was like, yeah, okay, but how do you do this? How do you start at a subconscious level, right? How do you change your subconscious? If I'm always thinking about, damn, like, I don't have enough money, and I can't do this, you know what I mean? I want to make my broadcast better, but I can't afford this, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. And, because I don't have enough money, I'm not going to continue to do this, or I'm not going to try and change this, or I'm not going to, take that next step, because how many times have you told yourself, I'll do something as soon as I get done with this? I will start to go on that diet or start to go work out as soon as I'm done with this. I will start to broadcast or, go traveling around the world once I get done with this. It never works. You can't do that. See, because once I made this decision about a month and a half ago, okay? About a month and a half ago, I made a decision that I was going to do YouTube, and I was going to be consistent, and I was going to succeed. One day I woke up and I was like, this is what's happening. I'm doing it, right? But I never left you now, and I still am not leaving you now. And the reason is because one thing that I've learned from Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, and everybody else is, you just got to do it. You just got to do it, right? So, when you think about a decision, you make the decision quick, but you implement the change slow, if ever at all. So you decide quick. I woke up and I said, I'm doing YouTube. And I did a test broadcast on YouTube. And then I started streaming on here more. A little bit more. All while still continuing to do you now. Then that bombshell hit yesterday, and I was like, okay, this is my opportunity now to tell people that this is the direction that I'm going in. I'm going in this direction, okay? There is no stopping me. from going in this direction, doing YouTube. There's no stopping me from going in the direction of changing where I'm at. And if you want to come with me, please come for the ride. I would love to have you. If you don't, it's cool. Nice knowing you, but I'm doing what I got to do. Yesterday was the way where I could put that out there and tell everybody that this was definitely happening. I know you guys. I know you guys are. Yesterday was that deciding factor for me to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing to tell everybody. But this decision was already made up months ago for me. Okay? But I made the decision quick. I woke up and I said, I'm doing it. And I implemented it slowly, if ever at all. And I'm still not phasing out you now, and I'm not going to. I will be streaming on you now, and I will still be broadcasting over there, but I will not be putting any time, effort, or anything into it. Right? It's just going to be for fun. It's just going to be for shits and giggles. And maybe that's the way it should have been to begin with. Maybe that's the way I should have kept it. But if this is my job, and I have full creative control on my job and be able to do what I want to do, and essentially be my own boss, stream when I want to stream, make videos when I want to make videos, provide the kind of content that I want to provide, then I want to change and I want to get better. With a lot of people on now, what I've always seen is nobody wants to get better. Nobody wants to get better. You know what I mean? They stay with their same computer and no mic and, no sound system and no OBS, no anything to really change to make it look better. With the exception of other people. There are a few exceptions. Ryan, Low Key, Truth Crab, Buttercup come to mind like that. You know what I mean? To really want to change and succeed and do things. Bats Candy. There are broadcasters on there, but for the majority of broadcasters, they don't care. They don't care. Brent's another one. They don't care. They just want to go on there and just bullshit. Maybe that's what it's for. But if I'm going to make this a career and I'm going to make this a job, I can't just sit around and bullshit. I don't want to. I could do that with my friends offline. I want to provide content. I want to do different things. I want to inspire. I want to show people the truth. I want people to realize that somebody who knew nothing about business and, is having a lot of problems as far as getting ahead in the world can do it. And that's what we're going to do. So I had made this decision months ago. Probably back when I saw Low Key really starting to make it. I was like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. And it wasn't because I saw Low Key making it, because I knew that I was going to provide different content from him completely. I'm not doing that Onision stuff. I'm not doing that stuff. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not falling into the drama. I don't care, okay? I don't care about that stuff. I don't want to do that. But with millions of people on this platform, I could potentially get millions of views. I could potentially get millions of fans. I could potentially be something that I never, ever expected. And that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to do. And anybody else can do that too. You just got to have the will and the want to do it. You got to have the mindset to do it. So, for the last couple weeks, and I used to do this a lot, and then I stopped. I used to do this a lot with health. When I was really working out hard, I would wake up in the morning and I would read affirmations. I'm going to kill it in the gym today. I'm going to be better. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get strong. I'm going to hit new PRs. And I would do this every day, every morning, every night before I went to bed. Listen to freaking crazy nonsense. Figure out everything I could figure out. Get as much information as I could about how to succeed in the gym and become bigger, better, fitter, more healthy. I'm taking those same principles and I'm implementing them now towards business and towards life as a whole. And I started this like a couple weeks ago. Probably when I started streaming on YouTube. And it's been almost a month now of me doing affirmations every day and, me getting back to studying and reading self-help books and studying about what I want to do and how I want to succeed and how it's possible to do it, and reading all these success stories, not any of these bullshit ones. I'm talking about people in the 1800s, 1900s, you know what I mean? Presidents, people like world leaders and, people like Steve Jobs and, Mark Cuban and Michael Jordan and, Derek Jeter, etc. And realizing that, it all started with a dream. So never stop dreaming. Set small goals, but always have one big goal. But once you succeed in all those goals, once you succeed in every single one of those goals, including your creme de la creme goal, realize that that's never enough. And set another one that's bigger and better. And there will be times where you will fail and you will go back down to ground zero. That was 2019. I failed. I was back down to ground zero. I was nothing. I was nobody. I was hurting on you now. People hated me over nonsense, over bullshit that they knew nothing about. People still do. But fuck them. I'm into the simple art of not giving a fuck when it comes to how people perceive me. And realizing that I will continue to be somebody who will never stop trying to become better. Not for anybody else. And I think when I try and become better and I try and prove to people that, hey, I'm a good guy. Hey, I'm not this or that. When I started to become healthy and fit because I wanted to fucking get back at that girl. You know what I mean? Back in the day. I started doing these things because I wanted to get back at people, because I wanted to show people I wasn't who they were claiming. It never worked. And then I changed my mindset and I said, you know what? I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for myself, not for them. And it worked. And then everything changed. Every single time it changed. I didn't throw music festivals because I wanted to prove people wrong, because I wanted to prove to people that I could do it. I wanted to do it because I wanted to fucking do it. I wanted to throw a music festival. I wanted to throw the biggest party that my friends, my family, I had ever thrown, and I wanted to be the one that did it. And I did. I wanted to be somebody who got hundreds of thousands of views and started to create a fan base and wanted to broadcast and wanted to, take people on my life journey because I wanted to do it. Not because anybody else told me to, not because anybody else told me I was going to fail, Once I realized that that's the reasons why I was doing it was because I wanted to and not because of anything else, that's when I changed. That's when it started to work. So I wake up and I say my affirmations and I study. What I mean by studying is reading some of these books, reading ideas, learning different things. Literally, sometimes taking college course classes on the internet. Never getting a degree for it, but still being able to take college course classes for free. And getting the knowledge and the wisdom and the power and of stuff that I want the knowledge, wisdom, and power to. I know that I'm bettering myself for myself. And I know that success will follow. Now, whether that's success with money, fame, riches, success in life, success in a lifestyle, success in, being a better person, that will come and that will follow too. Because at the same time, who sets my success? Who sets when I've become successful? Who sets it? Answer me that question. Who sets when you have become successful? Oh, you're not successful yet. You're never going to be successful. Oh, you're not successful. Or, oh my God, you're so successful. How did you do it? I want to be like you. I want to be successful like you. Who sets that? Please, tell me. I know the answer. Do you? See, because the truth is, not a single person sets your success, but you. Not a single person sets your success, but you. 10 people on YouTube watching me. Not a lot. Some would say very unsuccessful. Not a lot of views. To me, it's a huge success. Working with Adidas, a huge success. Streaming, throwing music festivals, a huge success. Did they work out as planned? Was I able to sustain myself from it? Most of them, no. Doesn't mean it wasn't a success. It means that it worked, and I did what I had to do, and I took the knowledge that I gained from it, and I learned from it, and I learned how to be better and do different and change things so that on my next venture in life, on my next trial and tribulation on life, I can take those lessons that I learned and implement them and use them and never make those same mistakes again. See, because at the end of the day, the real thing to me that's successful is knowledge. Knowledge is success. You need money to live. You need certain things to survive. But to have success, it's whatever you want it to be. Maybe being successful today is literally waking up and getting out of bed because you've been so down about yourself, or because you're really upset at the way something is going, or because you potentially lost something that was extremely close to you. So the success in your life right now is literally just getting up out of bed. If that's successful to you, then you're successful. The only success that really matters is the success that you put forth. You are the only one that can determine if you're successful or not. The only one. Nobody else can. They can try. That doesn't mean that you're successful. You're only successful if you feel like you're successful. And you can be successful, but still want to strive for more. You may never be satisfied, and that's okay. That's okay. I think that's good to have that hunger. It's good to have that strive and will and want to be better, do better, and become more successful. But just because you want to become more successful does not mean that you're not successful. Something that you need to understand, something that a lot of people need to understand. See, because the key word there is more successful. And it's okay to have that want and will and hunger. It really is. And you should have that want and will and hunger. You should. You really should. But that doesn't mean that you're not successful, because you are the only one who says when you're successful or not. You're the only one. Success is what you make of it. Success is what you want it to be. Success is what you want it to be. Don't give a fuck about what other people think about you as far as them saying if you're successful or not. Who gives a fuck? Fuck them. You're only successful if you choose to feel successful. If you set a goal and you hit it. Your goal could be something simple like, I'm going to eat a salad today. Okay. Achieved. That was a successful goal. Be proud that you succeeded in your goal to eat a salad today. And over time, your mindset will change. And you will be happy and grateful that you're earning the knowledge and the wisdom to succeed. And all these little successes will make you feel better about yourself, will make you feel better about life, will realize that you don't give a fuck about what other people think. You don't care about what other people think. And the only thing you care about is what you think about. The only thing you care about is that you yourself are riches, have the riches in your own mind, whether that's money, whether that's, happiness, whether that's all of the above. It doesn't really matter. Prosperity, it doesn't really matter. Pursuit of happiness, it doesn't really matter. As long as you are happy and you feel successful, all those little successes, all those little wins will equal out to something bigger and better. And eventually, over time, you will get to that big win. And once you do and you succeed through that big win, it's time to make another one. It's time to grow again. It's time to continue on. Life is never about stopping. Don't ever stop growing. Don't ever stop learning. Don't ever become complacent. Because the moment you do is the moment you start to fail. Because we're not supposed to be comfortable in life. Life is not comfortable. People get sick every day. People die. People, stand up to tyranny and governments. People stand up and do different. Every single day, we are tested in life. Should I eat that donut? Should I eat that salad? Should I go to sleep now, or should I stay awake and work my ass off? Should I, am I fighting? Am I going to go out? Am I going to come home today? Am I going to be alive? You know what I mean? Depending on where you are, where you live, depending on what your goals are, depending on what's going on in your life, we all get tested every single day. And when we take that test and we choose the correct goal for ourselves, in your mind, whatever that goal is, take that win, put it in your pocket, and be like, yo, that's another W right there. That's another W right there. If a donut is your win, then a donut is your win. Just know that, I disagree with you. Because you are successful. And in order to do what you wanted to do, and in order to succeed in what you're succeeding in right now, that is a win. And that does take a lot of self-control. Most people can't start their own business and much less succeed at their own business. It's an aspect in your life that you have to change if you want to. If you want to. Key word. If you want to. Because once again, you can't be anything unless you put your mind to it. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. You have to have the will, the want, the fight. Exactly. And that's success right there. And eventually you will come through a hard pass and you will get through that. Why? Because you're successful. You have gained the wisdom. I believe I have too. Now it's a matter of just continuing to relay that wisdom and realize that you are you are choosing to continue on with your life the way you see fit. You have to remember where you came from and where you're going. You have to remember to wake up and change your mindset and keep your mindset positive. The more positive your mindset is, the more positive you will be. The more positive you will be, the more successes you will have. The more successful you will have, the more friends you will have. The more family members you will love you. The more, your riches, your happiness, your life will be great and amazing. It all starts with mindset. I had to get to a point where I was trying to make everyone happy my whole life and totally disregarded my own happiness, and I said fuck it and focused on myself. Exactly. There you go. You're proving my point right there. Everything that I've been spewing, this broadcast, you proved it. You're living proof of it. I'm living proof of it by throwing a music festival. I'm living proof of it by being able to broadcast and make a career in 3-4 years out of a job on social media. Regardless. Big or small. Nothing in life comes easy. Nothing in life that's worth wanting doesn't take time, doesn't take the will. It all does. It's all major problems. But one day you woke up and you said, what? I'm going to do it, right? You just woke up and said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to change it. And then slowly you implemented it, right? You woke up and you said, this is what I'm doing. And then you started to implement the change slowly, if ever at all. You've unlocked the key to success and riches. You didn't sit around and say, yeah, I'll do this in fucking 3 years once I got this going for me or once I got that going for me. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. You said, I'm going to do this. And then it took time to do it. You did it slowly, over time. But it all started with your mindset. I am doing this. This is happening. No matter what anybody says, no matter who comes with me, no matter who doesn't, this is what I'm doing. I'm changing and I'm doing this, and this is what's going to happen. See, I never even realized this back in 2011 when I started throwing music festivals, that was the key to success. And even though I failed at the music festival, it was still a success. It was still a success. Because I still can say I threw a music festival There's not many people in the world that can say that they threw music festivals. There's not many people in the world that say that said that they can get into any club at any point in time for free in New York City, that knew all these amazing people. There's not that many people that got to work with the top music festivals in the world. There's not many people who got to get the business, the wisdom, learn the wherewithal on how to do this shit that's not taught in school, that will never be taught in school. So even though the business itself, the venture itself, was not a success because I'm not still doing it, was not prosperous, does not mean that I was not successful, because I was. Your biggest failures, if you learn and you take knowledge from them, they are your biggest successes. And they are your biggest assets. See? But there you go. You failed so much that you woke up one day and said, I'm going to do this, did it, and that was it. What you are saying is what I've been saying the entire time. No, you weren't. You weren't a fuck up. You were learning. You were learning. You weren't a fuck up. You were learning. You learned how to do it. See, because a lot of this shit, people say wake up, get an education, go to fucking college, get a degree, go work. Without a degree, you can't do anything in life. Bullshit. Bullshit. Because school will never teach you life lessons. School will never teach you how to really be successful. School will hand you a piece of paper and say, you're on your own. Go work this 9-to-5 job. Go do something that you're going to hate for the rest of your life. And, but with that, be in thousands of dollars worth of debt. And pay us for the debt you are now in. For the knowledge we have provided for you. Bullshit. Fuck that. Fuck that. I would have never had this knowledge. The knowledge that I have now, I would have never had if I went through college and did what I did. And didn't do it the way that I would have done it. If I didn't do it the way that it was done, I would have never had this knowledge. And I also would have never been able to say I threw my own music festival. And I started my own business on social media. And I have succeeded. School didn't teach me any of this. I taught myself it. I took mentors and people through and business models and such and, use them for advice. Use their models, took people's inspirations and used them in my own way. I didn't do it alone, but nobody taught me how to do it. I taught myself and used other people's help to get me there. So did you. And that's what matters. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to open up your eyes to realizing that success is only what you make of it. Nobody can say that you're successful or not. The only person who can is you. You're the only person who can say that you are successful or not. And 7 people, 15 people in my chat is success for me on YouTube. So I already have succeeded. I've succeeded, but I want more. I'm hungry for more. I'm successful already. That doesn't mean I don't want more, that I'm not hungry for more, because I am. Yeah, well, that's life. This is the way it should be. It's the way it should be. You should be thinking like that. I was young, dumb, and stupid, and I had no idea. Like, you know, when it comes back to the music festivals, right? I wish I was doing that now. I wish that I was doing that now. Because I wouldn't have failed. Because now, I look at it as a business. Then I looked at it as a party. It's a way different scenario. With broadcasting, I looked at it as for fun, and now I look at it as a business. And once I change that business model, it puts me here on YouTube. And away from the kiddie nonsense on you now. Because it is a business. It's my business. It's how I succeed. It's how I live. It's how I will eat. It's how I will work. Nobody will teach me this. I will teach myself, but I will have a lot of people that will help me along the journey. Because my success is based off of what I believe and what I want. And although I'm successful, I strive for more. And I strive for more because I have the mindset to be something that will reach to the masses. So when you wake up and you say, I'm going to do something, do it. Do it. It does not have to be done that day. Make decisions quickly, but implement the change slowly, if ever at all. Remember that. Remember that quote. It's from Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie. Okay? Remember that quote. It will get you many places in life. Make decisions quickly, but implement the change slowly, if ever at all. Sometimes it will require no change. You know, you decide. You wake up and you're like, should I do YouTube? No, I'm going to stay on you now. Boom, there you go. No change would have been required. But I wake up and I say, should I do YouTube? Absolutely. Implement the change slowly, if ever at all. Slowly cut back on you now. Slowly start streaming more on YouTube. Slowly start becoming better. Gaining a following here. Slowly, 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 while still sustaining what I have over there on YouTube, on you now. Implement the change slowly, if ever at all. All it takes to succeed is the willpower, the want, and the change of mindset. You gotta wake up and breathe the thing that you want to be successful at. If I want to be healthy and go to the freaking gym and I want freaking muscles and I want to become a bodybuilder, I gotta breathe that. I gotta eat, sleep, breathe that. Because that's how they do it. If I want to become a hockey player, that's how they do it. They eat, sleep, and breathe it every single day. From 6 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, to 10 o'clock at night. They're thinking about hockey. They're thinking about bodybuilding. They're thinking about business. They're thinking about this or that. It's how the people, it's how Thomas Edison got electricity. He failed so many times before he got it right. But he slept, breathed the fact that he would make electricity, and he did it. Henry Ford, slept, and breathed the fact that he would make an automobile, and he did it. The Wright brothers, slept, breathed the fact that they would create a plane, and they did it. Every day of their lives. It took years with many different failures. Millions of failures, probably. If not hundreds of thousands of failing tries, but they did inevitably succeed. Make decisions quickly and implement them slowly, if ever at all. If you want to take away anything from this broadcast, take away that. Make decisions quickly, but implement them slowly, if ever at all. Implement the change slowly, if ever at all. On that note, I'm going to go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right. Peace out, T. So that was my inspirational talk today, to become a better you. And I think some of the content that I want to provide on here is by doing some of this, more of this self-helping kind of broadcasting, as well as news and politics and such. But I want to inspire, and hopefully this calling will help. Now, I'm going to see what else is going on in the world, and if there is anything going on in the world, we will reset, and we will begin broadcasting again on another broadcast here. Let's see if there's anything going on in the world, though, because that's what matters. Got to see if there's anything going on. Otherwise, I'll just get set for today's news at 2 p.m. 2:30 p.m. Which is something that I might just get set for right now. How about them Packers? How about them? Look, Cowboys are out. I don't care about football anymore. So, screw you. Screw you. But I love you guys, and I think I'm out for now. Yeah, we are horrible. Like, I hate Jason Garrett. He's the worst. He's the worst. As always, peace, love, unity, respect. I'll be back at 2:30 unless something pops off around the world. I'll be back at 2:30 for today's news. Unless something pops off around the world, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Peace.